Hello and welcome to the official NoN-eSports channel. I'm Cadoink, and today in the top right of Cloud Kingdom we have NoN-eSports player Hulk spawning as the red Zerg, and his opponent is the blue Protoss ForAiur. This is a game Hulk sent to me, one of two, that he wanted me to cast, and so I thought I would cast it and upload it to the official NoN-eSports channel. Hulk is a player that I believe I've casted one of his games before on my own personal channel. I think he used a Smurf at that time that was Pulsar, I believe. I'll have to reconfirm that, but I did definitely cast one of Hulk's games before. He is a Master League Zerg player, very good Zerg player. Yeah, and so he sent me this game, and I'm very excited to cast it. It is on Cloud Kingdom. Cloud Kingdom seems to be a pretty evenly matched map for both Zerg and Protoss. We seem to see a lot of 2 base timings out of Protoss, and the usual just take 3 base and mass up to Roach from Zerg. That's kind of a thing that is most common in this matchup. And neither player really doing that much of anything. Things seem to be going pretty slow here. The Protoss player just kind of scouting out Hulk's base while Hulk deciding to get a spawning pool up pretty early, deciding to get the pool before his hatch, usual thing to do, kind of a safer play. But what is ForAiur spending his money on? He has this pylon. It looks like he's just going to go Nexus first, which is a pretty bold play, to be honest. But I think he can afford to do that because he scouting around with his probe, and I don't think he expects any kind of early attack coming in. He is denying this base, so it's kind of foolish to go... Oh, he's not going to go... he's not going to go Nexus first. This is very weird. He's floating quite a bit of minerals. He's going to be putting down the Forge at 3. Okay, and getting his Nexus up. Alright, this isn't bad. I thought he was going to go for Nexus first, which is kind of strange because he saw the pool, and then he shortly denied the hatch, meaning Hulk is going to have to pop out some Zerglings, and then he can use the Zerglings to just kind of run into the Protoss player's base. So I was kind of confused as to what ForAiur was doing, but it seems to make sense now. He's getting his Forge, he's getting a second pylon up, and then no doubt a cannon, is going to go down, and then the gateway, once he hits 150 minerals, we'll see that going down, I don't know, probably right here. No, down here. And this should be just enough room for a Zealot, or maybe even a Probe, to just sit and block any Zerglings from coming in. As we see here, Hulk has gotten a very fast third hatchery up. He's going for the very common style of just getting 3 hatches. Massing up a ton of units, hitting 200 and 200 very quickly, and then just dominating. We can see he's not putting in any gas at this time, so most likely not any kind of Mutilus play. We'll probably see a Roach Infester. Seems to be the most common thing, and probably a much later Infester as we don't see any gas, and so no kind of indication of a lair in the near future. I suspect he'll be putting down a Roach Warren pretty soon, and then, well, he's going to have to get back gas first, but then he's going to put down a Roach Warren, and then he's not going to pop out any Roaches unless he needs it. We can see that he has his Overlord up here on this little rocky, crystally area, so that he can see if any kind of attacks are coming out. He also has this Overlord here to spot a third, and if he sees a third come down, I think he'll be quite pleased and just take a fourth, as any kind of early third from Protoss means they're not going to do any kind of big timing attack that early on, and you can kind of afford to get up a 4th hatch and just kind of get some spine crawlers, and then when the time comes, pop out a ton of Roaches. So we still see no gas for our NoN-eSports player. He's just massing up those drones. In fact, if we look at the unit tab, he does have 29, 31 now to the 28 probes of ForAiur, and now he's going to be getting his double gas, and most likely either an evolution chamber so he can get some upgrades, and probably a Roach Warren, and then probably a lair as he does want to get those upgrades for his Roaches. Roaches are kind of late hatch, early lair tech. Even though you can get the Roaches out at hatch tech, you still want that lair so you can get your upgrades. Your Roaches really need those upgrades to be offensive. To be defensive, you don't. really need them. The speed is always nice, but most generally we see them come up with the hive so that we can get that glial reconstitution. Very popular upgrade. Protoss player, on the other hand, getting his warp gates. He does have double gas in his main, and he's putting down 4 more gateways. So it looks like kind of a 5-gate thing. Ooh, another gate. So this might be the 7-gate. Yeah, it looks like the 7-gate 2-base attack. I think the MC is popular for doing this a while ago. A lot of Protoss players do it. A very common 2-base all-in sort of deal. So he's going to really want to do damage. We see a probe going up to put down a pylon up here. Oh, and interestingly, there's a pylon inside of Hulk's main, which actually with the 7-gate timing could be really, really strong. So we'll have to see what it does, but you see here, Hulk's doing just like I said. He's getting the Evo Chamber, he's getting the Roach Warren. He's going to be probably getting the +1 range attack for his Roaches, and then once he decides to get a lair, he'll be getting that reconstitution. But right now we have 3 Zealots being warped in. I don't know if I like this. Can Hulk see it? Hulk can actually see it, so he should have waited for a bigger warp in, but he is going to be targeting down this Roach Horn, which is going to be so annoying. Luckily, 9 Roaches are already in production to deal with this, but more and more Zealots coming in. 1 Zealot trying to target the Queen, the rest of the Zealots going for this Roach Horn. That's going to be so annoying. He's going to have to rebuild that very quickly. But the 9 Roaches are about to pop, and here comes some Zerglings as well as the Broodlings. Getting a nice, getting the Zealots trapped up here. Catching a few off to the left. His Roaches will be able to deal with that. He needs to take care of them in small clumps like he is doing, but the spawning pool goes down as well. That's going to be huge, as he's going to have to rebuild that as well as the Roach Warren. And a lot of Zealots here. Hulk looks like he's in a good bit of trouble. Almost more Zealots. Yeah, more Zealots than there are Roaches, so he's going to have to pull back a bit and wait for that Roach Warren to finish. Some Zerglings popping at this time. The Zerglings are going to do a lot of damage to the Roaches. Oh, yeah. Excuse me, to the Zealots. And it looks like he is going to be able to hold this with a bit minimal damage. It looks like, wow, looks like only 8 workers killed. Not too terribly bad considering he's sitting at 42 workers at this time. And now he has a bit of an army. He didn't really want to build that this early on, but since he did, he can now go in for an attack, and since that kind of 2-base attack didn't really work, ForAiur is going to have to come up with something else. One of the problems with going 7-gate is you don't really have a lot of tech. He's getting his Twilight Council now at the 10-minute mark. He just has 1 Forge that hasn't started any of his upgrades. Fortunately, though, he does have a good bit of cannons and a good bit of units, and these Zerglings are going to have a real hard time getting any kind of surround, as he can just pull back and use the Stalkers. But here comes the Roaches trying to do some damage. He will be able to kill this pylon off. He might be able to get the Forge. Looks like the Forge taking a lot of hits at this time, as well as the Gateway, but he is taking a lot of hits from the cannon as well as the Stalkers and the Sentries, so I don't know. He's targeting down these cannons, but some good force fields going down. One of the cannons going down. The Forge looks like it will go down. He could even get this. He could even get this Gateway if he wanted to, but he wants to get some Sentries. However, another well-placed force field is going to push him back, and you know, he's doing all right. He managed to kill Forge. If we look at the units lost tab, Hulk a little bit behind, but that's not really too big of a deal because he is sitting on 3 base with a macro hatch on the way. He's also getting that +1 range like I talked about before for his Roaches, as well as that glial reconstitution and burrow. He did decide to get the lair in his natural rather than his main, which is a smart choice. Had this happened to have been killed off, then you'd still have a lair. And the other thing is, when ForAiur did his attack, he didn't see a lair, and so he could think that his opponent is behind when he really wasn't because he had a lair in his natural. So we see this pylon making its use right now as he's warping in some Stalkers. ForAiur's going to be doing another attack. I don't know how well it's going to do. There are some Spine Crawlers as well as a fair amount of Roaches. Not too many Zerglings, and Zerglings are really, really good against Stalkers. With the exception of Sentries allowing to force field everywhere. So we see ForAiur coming in, and I don't know if Hulk is going to be able to hold this, as the Sentry count is still pretty high. Oh, and Blink is also finished, so the 2 Spine Crawlers going down very quickly. Some great force field splitting the Roach army in half. Hulk looks like he's in a good bit of trouble. I think he's going to need to run his drones away and just kind of let this base die. burrowing his roaches. Don't really know why. Maybe hoping his opponent would walk over them and he could kill the sentries. Actually, coming in from the side, killing all the sentries, and ForAiur actually, huge blunder there, letting his sentries die like that. Now his stalkers are in a lot of trouble as the zerglings and roaches are streaming forward. He will be able to pick off these pylons as well as the probe, so no more pylons for ForAiur, and he's going to have to blink away and probably run home. The base did manage to get picked off, but you know, his 2-base timing failed once again to really do a substantial amount of damage. We can see that the army supplies are actually in Hulk's favor, and the probe count, or the work count, still in Hulk's favor as well. So these 2-base timings, they really have to do damage, or else you're going to be very, very economically behind. So Hulk is just going to be moving forward with a large roach zergling force. He's going to see that there's no third and be very, very happy about that. And then he's just going to keep trying to poke at ForAiur and keep denying any kind of third that he tries to take in the future. And he should be economically ahead and be fine. So Hulk moving forward at this time, he doesn't really want to engage here. There are a good bit of cannons and a nice little wall. These stalkers can get some good hits off as well as the cannons. He might be able to pick off this gateway, which it looks like he's trying to do. I'd say just take the gateway and run home, but it looks like Hulk's going to be moving forward, trying to do as much damage as he can, managing to pick off one of the cannons as well as a few stalkers. But I don't really see this working. ForAiur has a pretty nice concave, and some good blinks are going to allow him to survive. There are no observers on the map. Oh, wow, a nice unburrow to kind of catch these stalkers off guard. He's going to be able to pick off quite a few of them. And then burrowing once again, and now there's finally an observer in the mix, so really needs to run home as it's kind of risky burrowing his roaches with an observer in the fray. Oh, another attack from Hulk. I don't like this. A great concave for ForAiur and some nice blink micro. Once again, blinking forward very offensively, and now that this observer is here, he's going to be able to pick them off while they're burrowed, and Hulk finally is going to have to go home. But in all that time he was putting on pressure, he managed to get his third back up and running. He's trying to saturate that as best as he can. And ForAiur's going to be taking a third of his own. Hulk's really going to be wanting to deny that. If he lets him get that up, ForAiur really has a shot at winning this game. But if Hulk denies it, maybe even once, ForAiur's just going to be in too much trouble. If we look in the natural, he's not mined out yet. He's got a good bit of minerals, but he's still running a little bit low. Excuse me. In the main, he is really, really low, so he wants to be taking that third. Hulk has his third. He can probably start gearing up to take a fourth very, very safely. So Hulk looking in a very, very strong position. The upgrades, let's see what the upgrades are. The upgrades are 2-0 for Hulk, our non-esports player, and just 1-0-0 for the Protoss player. So really behind in the upgrades, like I said. He didn't manage to get his tech, and really behind economically. So he's going to be taking this third. Hulk wants to deny it so bad, so he's moving forward with some zerglings as well as roaches just at the time as ForAiur starts to move out a little bit. And kind of a good position for ForAiur, but now that the reinforcements are here, he will have to pull back, and this third will be denied. And like I said before, even just denying this once is just going to propel Hulk so far forward in this game. The army supply is greatly in his favor, 138 to 77. The worker supply still in his favor. If we look at the income tab, income's sitting at about even, but that's going to change very, very quickly when ForAiur's natural is mined out and when ForAiur's main is completely mined out. And we actually see sending all his drones to gas, very common mistake, but it's no big deal. He very quickly fixed that, and now he is mining again, and his income tab should be a little bit higher now. Yeah, sitting at about 1,400 to the 1,200 of ForAiur. And look at this beautiful roach zergling army streaming across the map, just kind of checking around for pylons and things, being very, very active. I love this. And finally putting some roaches, some infestors into the fray. He did get that pathogen glands upgrade, so that's going to be very, very strong, very, very helpful for him. So we see the zerglings moving in once again. A good bit of sentries now, so there are some force fields in the mix, and he does put them down. Some great force fields. We see an immortal even. Immortal to deal, of course, with the roaches. So good against roaches. So Hulk is just going to stream down the bottom. There are no pylons here to spot for it, which is kind of foolish by ForAiur, so he does not know this is coming, and he's going to have a much better concave now that he's to this right side rather than going up this ramp. So he is moving forward. The zerglings as well as the roaches, the infestors in a good position, gets some fungal growth. A lot of sentries clumped together. Oh, he does manage to get one fungal growth on him, a second one as well, and this attack is going so well for Hulk. In fact, I think this might be the ending. Oh no, he is going to pull back. The force field's a little bit too good. He's going to try to fungal a few more times. He really should. What's the energy count? Don't know if he has enough. He's kind of poking back and forth with his roaches. Moving back forward, an offensive blink by ForAiur, but a little bit foolish, but the roach is able to get some good surface area on these stalkers, killing a lot of them. The Immortal doing a lot of work, but it will go down very quickly. And I think ForAiur just might be able to hold this. A lot of stalkers, great concave. Yes, indeed, the roaches are going to go down. But if we see on the mini-map, a lot of Zerglings and roaches streaming down from the top side. Another base taken by by Hulk. And another attack is coming, and ForAiur just isn't able to reinforce, as he never managed to get this third base up and was never able to really mine from it that effectively. A great fungal growth going down on all the sentries, as well as some zealots, which the zealots essentially doing nothing at this point. Some Zerglings streaming in, picking off the remains. ForAiur saying for the swarm, and a nice little smiley face. Very mannered player ForAiur is. Yeah, so congratulations, Hulk, for a great win in a very difficult matchup. PvZ, an excellent play by you, Hulk. Very excited to upload this to the official NoN-eSports channel. If you enjoyed this cast, I would love it if you commented below, liked the video, and of course subscribe to the NoN-eSports channel. It would mean a lot to us. Also, you should check out our website. It's a very great website. The link will be in the description bar. You can check it out. It will give you some news on our players and how they're doing, and how they're doing in tournaments and things like that. NoN-eSports does a lot of clan matches over in Europe, which is very exciting. Allows them to have a chance at winning some money and also getting their name out and getting some practice, and it's a very good thing to be in clan matches and clan wars. So definitely go check them out, cheer them on, and yeah, comment on the video. Also, if you enjoy my casting and my casting style, it would mean a lot if you'd check out my own personal YouTube channel. There will be a link in the description bar, and that's youtube.com/user/CadoinkStudios. So over there, I do a lot of community games, I do pro games, I do a lot of other games outside of StarCraft. I'm doing actually an amnesia race with a friend, which is very exciting and very scary. So you can check that out as well. But don't forget to subscribe to NoN-eSports official channel, and I will see you guys in another cast next time.